program series, Living Well Wednesday. My name is Melody Garcia, and I am the agent in Kearney County, and I will be your host for today. Our Living Well Wednesday is a virtual learning series hosted by K-State Research and Extension, family and consumer science professionals from across the state of Kansas. Many of our topics will touch on a wide variety of essential skills that empower you and your family to live, work, and thrive. Before we get started, I just wanted to go over a few housekeeping rules. Be respectful and open of others throughout the presentation. Feel free to type your questions in the Q&A box and your comments in the chat box. The Q&A box does have a feature where you can ask anonymously if you are more comfortable with that. Our monitors will make sure to go over the questions at the end of the presentation. Today's session will be recorded and posted to our Living Well Wednesday webpage, along with additional resources. You will be able to find all future and past programs on our website as well. https://bit.ly/KSRE Living Well webinars. Lastly, a friendly reminder, our Living Well Wednesday series will discuss a new topic every second and fourth Wednesday in January, February, and March over the lunch hour. Be sure to check our Living Well website for additional details on registration and topics. Oops. We do want to acknowledge that KSRE is an equal opportunity employer. Therefore, we do not discriminate against anyone. So if there is any special request or concern that you need to allow you to attend our programs, please reach out to us. I would like to launch a poll for you to answer, give us a little bit of information on a few things. What's important? So if you would just be willing to, what is the most important thing you want out of life? Good, starting to come in. It's a close one. 70% have weighed in. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end the poll. It looks like our greatest important thing in life is happiness at 65%. And next up is healthy relationships at 57%. And then health weighing in at 39%. So, see those. Right. We want to thank our presenters for joining us today. Our presenters are Gayle Price, Southeast Region Family and Consumer Science Specialist, Jennifer LaSalle, Family and Community Wellness, West Plains Extension District, and Mirna Bonilla, Community Health and Wellness with the Chisholm District. And with that, I will turn it over to Gayle.
Welcome. I'm glad you're connecting today to learn more about gratitude and how it impacts our lives. Gratitude comes from the Latin word gratus, which means thankful and pleasing. In its most simplest form, to be grateful is to have appreciation and express thankfulness. The research on gratitude is new and evolving. Today, we are going to share what research is clearly showing about how to practice gratitude and what some of the benefits of living a grateful lifestyle are. In the next slide, this 90-second video provides a great overview of the benefits of practicing gratitude, and it introduces you to why practicing gratitude is important. This YouTube video is from the John Templeton Foundation entitled Gratitude is Good for You and Others. So, Melody?
Do you want to be happier, healthier, and an all-around better person? There's a way that is free, easy, and totally up to you. It's gratitude. Gratitude is much more than saying thanks. It's a way of seeing the world. And with practice, we can train ourselves to feel gratitude more frequently and powerfully. The scientific evidence is clear. Practicing gratitude is good for you and your loved ones. Grateful people get sick less, have healthier hearts, exercise more, get better sleep. Grateful people are more optimistic, overcome adversity better, find greater joy in life. Grateful people are more generous with their time and money, are more forgiving, and build better relationships with loved ones. Just like strengthening muscles, you can build gratitude simply by exercising it. So, how do you develop an attitude of gratitude? Take the first step now. Write a letter to someone you know and tell them why you are grateful for them. Or think about the blessings you may take for granted. Or start a gratitude journal at elementofgratitude.org and get serious about becoming more grateful.
So, what is gratitude? The definition is not always agreed upon, but a commonly referenced definition is the one that you see on your screen. An emotion, an attitude, a moral virtue, a habit, a personality trait, or a coping response. The Harvard Medical School offers that gratitude is a thankful appreciation for what one receives, tangible and intangible, as one acknowledges the goodness in their life. Gratitude, in fact, is more than simply an interpersonal appreciation of someone's help. Research suggests that gratitude involves having a distinct worldview where feelings of gratitude stem from noticing and appreciating the positive things in one's life. There is a link between gratitude and one's happiness. Next slide, please. Research indicates that grateful individuals have these 4 characteristics. Grateful people appreciate others' contributions to their own well-being. Grateful people tend to appreciate the simple pleasures. In other words, pleasurable things that are freely available to the majority of people, such as a beautiful sunset, a field of wildflowers, or possibly a snow-capped mountain. Grateful people would not feel deprived in life. And grateful individuals acknowledge the important role of experiencing and expressing gratitude. The current research on gratitude is associated with greater happiness. Gratitude helps people feel more positive emotions, relish good experiences, improve their health, deal with adversity, and build strong relationships. And you will learn more about these benefits and more later in this webinar. I would now like to turn it over to Jennifer, and she will share ways one can practice gratitude.
Thank you, Gayle. We have heard some research behind the art of practicing gratitude. Now we need to know how to cultivate it. So how do we do this? First, we need to practice. Gratitude cannot be achieved by snapping our fingers. It takes long-term cultivation through dedicated practice. Some days this will be easy and come naturally, and other days it will be difficult. We must discipline ourselves to practice it daily. Once we do this, then it becomes a habit. It takes a minimum of 21 days to form a habit, but I recently read that anything that provides our brain with intense feelings of pleasure is going to be learned fast and change our behavior. Hopefully, this will happen when you start cultivating an attitude of gratitude. When we have the habit of practicing gratitude, then it becomes a way of life. Next slide, please. One way to cultivate an attitude of gratitude is through journaling. There is no right or wrong way to journal. Psychological research has shown that translating thoughts into words, written or oral, has advantages over just thinking the thoughts. Journaling daily or weekly is suggested. Research also indicates that those who journal daily have more positive behavior outcomes, such as better sleep, happier, or more optimistic about the future. When should you journal? Make it work for you. Journal while you're having your cup of coffee in the morning, or journal before you go to bed at night. If you do it the same every day, then it becomes a habit. I tried journaling the first thing when I arrived at work, but found that I would get busy working on something and would forget. So I started journaling before I went to bed, and that has seemed to work for me. You need to find what works for you. You don't need a You don't need a fancy notebook or a high-tech app to journal. I use a notebook. A friend gave me this beautiful bound notebook that, and it works perfect for me. It's this nice little notebook. But you can use a spiral notebook too. It does not have to be fancy. You can use the memo on your phone or an app for journaling. We will post on our website some of the different journaling apps. Don't worry about spelling or using proper grammar. If you worry too much about that, then it seems to hinder your thought process. Remember, this is your journal. You are the only one to read it. Take your time journaling. Stop and smell the roses. Be aware of the depth of your gratitude, but also watch out for gratitude fatigue. When journaling becomes a mundane task and not an enjoyable practice, adjust the amount of journaling you are doing. Next slide, please. So how do we journal? Start by writing 3 to 4 things you are grateful for in the past 24 hours. No repeats. Be specific. Go for the depth. Generalizations will get you further from the truth. Don't just say, I'm grateful for my family. This is broad. Find what little things about your family you are grateful for. Maybe something like, I am grateful for the hug my son gave me this morning. Or one I used, I am grateful for the compliment my husband gave me on the dinner I made. Give details for each entry. The truth is in the details. Include some surprises. What unexpected blessing did you benefit from today? What were you dreading that did not happen? If you are still at a standstill on what to write, think of the benefits you received today as a gift. I am grateful for the beautiful sunny day, or I am grateful to be able to enjoy the beautiful sunset. Relish and savor the gifts you have been given. Think about things in your life that you tend to take for granted, such as able to get out of bed in the morning, having a warm meal, electricity, or I'm grateful for the heated seats in my car on this chilly day. And don't forget about the people in your life who have helped you and the people you love. Who deserves your thanks? It could be the person at the coffee shop who knows your name and remembers your order each time. We tend to always remember the positive things in our lives to be grateful for, but we also need to be grateful for the negative outcomes you've avoided, escaped, or prevented. Because you made it through those negative times and you are here, you are able to remember them. You got through the worst days of your life and you are making your own way out of the dark. When we remember how difficult life was and how far you have come, it becomes a true reason to be grateful. Next slide, please. Gratitude jar is another way to cultivate an attitude of gratitude. This is a fun exercise that has a profound effect on your well-being. So this is how the gratitude jar works. Find a jar or box. You can decorate it if you wish. Write down 3 things throughout the day you are grateful for on slips of paper. Use the same thought process as I mentioned with journaling. Place the slips in the jar. Over time, you will find that you have a full jar of numerous reasons to be grateful. Next time you are feeling down and need a quick pick-me-up, take a few notes out of the jar to remind yourself of who and what is good in your life. So now let's practice. In the chat, we would like for you to write one thing you are grateful for. Keep in mind what I have mentioned. For this practice, though, try to keep it to a couple of words. Hopefully, at the end of the program, we will have a word cloud to share. If not, we will have it posted on our webpage. So you may begin now in the chat and write. Okay, we'll have you continue to do that as we continue through our presentation. So next slide, please, Melody. And there we go, thank you. Another way to show gratitude is through a written letter. This is a powerful gratitude exercise. And this is how it works. Write a handwritten letter or an email to a person you are grateful to have in your life. Compose the letter with details of why you are grateful to have this person in your life. Express qualities about the person, how they have affected your life for the better. For the greatest impact, deliver the letter to the person and stand back and watch the gratification the person expresses from reading the letter. This will be one of the greatest gifts they will receive. According to a study by Steve Topher of Kent State, his undergraduate students who participated in this study experienced enhanced levels of life satisfaction and happiness and decreased symptoms of depression. Great, next slide, please. And the last practice is text to connect. This is how it works. This practice is really simple and does not take much time. Text 2 people before 10 a.m. who need me right now. Think, who needs me right now? Who needs some love, some kindness, some appreciation, some support? And then watch the magic happen. You probably will get an immediate response. What a great way to feel good. And lastly, I would like to leave you with this thought. When you choose thoughts that feel good, we feel good and good things happen. So now I'd like to turn it over to Mirna, and she will share the impact of being grateful.
All right, perfect. So Jennifer and Gayle provided a really great overview of what gratitude is and how to practice it. But I do want to take a few moments to talk about the why. So why should we be incorporating it into our daily lives? So research has actually shown that gratitude and well-being is a relatively new study. So through the last few decades, researchers have really focused on 4 key areas that are greatly impacted by practicing gratitude. The first is psychological pathology. So being thankful has been shown to predict a significantly lower risk of being diagnosed with depression, anxiety, to become dependent on nicotine, alcohol, or drugs, and can even lower the risk of eating disorders. The second aspect involves our emotional functioning. We know that gratitude is strongly and consistently associated with greater happiness. According to a Harvard article, Gratitude helps people feel more positive emotions. You relish in the good experiences. It improves our health. It helps us deal with adversity. And it, as Jennifer mentioned, it helps build strong relationships with one another. The third component looks at the conceptions of gratitude in the sense of, what is our life meaning, the eudaimonic well-being. We get a greater sense of what our life means. We find our purpose and we live life to the fullest. And the final aspect that is greatly impacted is the humanistic conception. So research has found that gratitude is strongly correlated with authentic living, and people are less likely to practice self-alienation. So some research has gone as far as arguing that gratitude serves as an evolutionary purpose because it facilitates the human's tendency to cooperate with non-family members. So basically what that means is people can use gratitude to form new social relations and to strengthen current ones. Next slide, please. So if we delve deeper into how gratitude impacts us, there are a few examples that have been scientifically proven whenever we do practice gratitude into our daily lives. So one of the first one is gratitude can strengthen our physiological well-being. So gratitude has been found to result in better coping and management of chronic illnesses and leads to positive health behaviors. Researchers have seen a faster recovery from particular medical procedures and positive changes in the immune system within individuals. Other benefits of gratitude include less frequent visits to the doctor, you lower your blood pressure, and decrease likelihood of developing a mental health disorder. Gratitude also improves our sleep. So gratitude has been shown to improve sleep quality and decrease the amount of time needed to fall asleep. And it also increases our sleep duration. And isn't that what we all want, is to just get a good night's sleep? And people who practice gratitude right before bedtime by listing things that they feel grateful for actually report feeling better and having better sleep. This is likely because gratitude diminishes anxiety and stressful feelings. So it allows for a more restful and relaxed entry to sleep. Gratitude also increases our energy levels and our likelihood of physical activity. So researchers have found a positive correlation between gratitude and physical health. We exercise more, we eat healthy, and we have a tendency to go to the doctor when something is wrong. There was a study published in the Journal of Personality and Individual Differences that suggested that the reason that giving thanks helps people appreciate and care for our bodies even more. Another aspect is it improves our emotional and mental health. So practicing gratitude doesn't just feel good, it impacts our mental and emotional well-being in several important ways. According to the Mayo Clinic, our brains are designed to problem solve rather than appreciate. So we often have to override this design to reap the benefits of gratitude. So we have to be very intentional about it. So feeling thankful and appreciative has a calming effect on our brains and bodies. What happens is it releases chemicals which foster feelings of contentment and that encourage motivation. We do tend to be more optimistic and we feel better about our life than individuals who focus on negative or neutral things. Appreciating what you have can make you feel more optimistic and satisfied and experience less frustration, envy, and regret. It also tends to result in increased empathy, self-esteem, and confidence, which in the end improves our mood. And lastly, gratitude can enhance relationships. So we often are attracted to positive people. So the positivity also makes one easier to get along with and to talk to, even about difficult things. So being thankful for the important people in our lives is more likely to be reciprocated. So mutual appreciation for each other often results in a more satisfying relationship. You tend to have a greater understanding and a sense of appreciation for each individual person. So how does this relate back to the workplace? So there is a book called Bring Your Whole Self to Work. And the author in that had a really great quote. And he stated, "You create an environment where people feel valued and appreciated for who they are, not just what they do." So this in turn can lead to more positive emotions in the workplace. It's less stressful. You have fewer health complaints. You have a greater sense of the ability to achieve your goals. You have fewer sick days, and you have a higher satisfaction with your jobs and your coworkers. So we're really fortunate to have Laverne Williamson from K-State's Human Capital Services touch on this subject for our next program. So if you would like to learn more about how to create a positive culture in the workplace by learning how to show individual appreciation to coworkers, join us for the next program, Languages of Appreciation, where we will explore how love languages can be applied in a work setting. And that program is set to be February 9th. And ultimately, really the key takeaway is that gratitude is strongly and consistently associated with greater happiness. Gratitude helps us feel more positive emotions. We appreciate the good experiences. It improves our health and helps us deal with adversity and just build stronger relationships. Next slide, please. And then Jennifer is she found this amazing quote, and she is going to explain a little bit more and just give you a quick summary.
Right, so we'd like to end our presentation with this quote. The gratitude muscle is like any other muscle in that it must be flexed periodically to remain strong. And isn't that true? It just can't, like I said earlier, you just cannot snap your fingers and have gratitude. It takes that practicing and flexing that muscle to get the full benefits of everything Mirna told us, the research in gratitude. So we hope you have enjoyed our presentation, and we are in hopes that you will start to flex your gratitude muscle. And I believe with that, we have our word cloud ready?
Give me just 1 second, Jennifer.
Okay.
As Rachel gets that pulled up, we do also want to mention, we strongly encourage you to be able to take these practices and implement them into your daily life. So as a thank you for joining our presentation, so everybody who is on this presentation right now will be eligible for a random drawing, and we are actually giving away a gratitude journal. So just be on the lookout. For your email, we'll do a random drawing, so we will contact you via email, but we're really hoping that you can utilize this journal and use it in your everyday life, so that way you can start journaling as soon as you can.
And if you'll let me share my screen. This is put together all the words that everyone shared, and here is our word cloud from the gratitude everyone listed in the chat box.
That is awesome. And as Mirna had mentioned, ultimately, when you practice gratitude, it leads to happiness. And our poll earlier in our presentation showed that that is what most of you guys want out of life, is happiness. So by flexing that gratitude muscle, you will obtain that happiness in life. And you guys have got a great start here with our word cloud. And I hope that you guys will take our presentation and start practicing and cultivating your attitude of gratitude. Are there any questions?
There aren't any in the chat or the Q&A so far. We might give it a few minutes for people to type if need be.
And Melody, will you go to the very last slide real quick as well, and we'll explain the survey? So we do have a survey for our presentation. If all you have to do is scan the QR code, or you are able to use the bit.ly link that we have here, please feel free to give us back any type of comments or anything that you would like to see in the future. We really do appreciate you attending our Living Well programs. And Melody will also explain what our next program is.
Thank you. Thank you so much to our presenters, Gayle Price, Jennifer LaSalle, and Mirna Bonilla. We appreciate you taking the time for this presentation, and I love the ideas that you gave about being grateful. It was a good reminder to do those things. I used to do a jar, and I kind of got out of the habit. I think maybe it's time to get started again. I'm sure many of you learned something new to take home and practice, and we encourage you to complete the survey that Mirna talked about. It will also be sent to you right after and will be available on the Living Well website. Feel free to provide comments and suggestions for us. We do hope that you will continue joining us every second and fourth Wednesday. The next Live Well topic will be Languages of Appreciation, and it will be February 9th from 12:15 to 1. The presenter is Laverne Williams. She is the Human Capital Services Employee Relations and Engagement Specialist. If you would like more information or additional resources, please reach out to your local extension agent. If you are not sure where your local office is, you can find it by going to ksre.kstate.edu. Then you will be able to hover over your county and find the location of your local office. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a great rest of the day.
Melody, we do have a question that has come up in the Q&A. What was the book title and the author that you recommended?
Title was Bring Your Whole Self to Work, and Mike Robbins is the author of that book. And then Jennifer also had created a list of resources that we'll be able to put on our website, and it's all listed on there, additional books that you can look. Robert Emmons is also one of the lead experts in this field, and he has a book titled 8 to Great, and that also explains a lot more about how gratitude can become a daily habit.
Mhm.
I would just like to say too that resource list that the presenters put together is already on the website, and there's some additional resources. There's a gratitude questionnaire if you want to kind of do kind of a self-assessment of where you're at. It's a tool that's out there, and it's linked there on the website already.
And I've put the link to our website in the chat box so you can easily access it there. Be sure to bookmark it. You can find our recordings from our previous webinars, as well as our topics and titles for our future webinar series on there. So bookmark that page, and so that way you'll have easy access to it.
Thanks again for joining us.
Don't see any other questions.
Awesome.